carry on. Welcome to that pedal show where you will see Michael's lovely arm. His lovely arm. It's quite hairy, but it's a lovely, lovely arm. It's not hairy when you compare it to mine. His lovely arms, they appear quite fine. Lovely, lovely Michael and his arm.
Tempo changing.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Black Pedal Show down here.
Mick here, hello. BV, thank you for keeping us in touch and telling me to hit record on the podcast, which I've done. For those of you, we call it a podcast. It's currently only available to our patrons on Patreon.
Yes.
We are making steps to be able to make it widely available as a podcast.
Wildly available.
Wildly available.
Unreal.
In conjunction with some other things that we want to do.
Things are afoot. Things are afoot.
At the moment, if you want to listen to it, Patreon is the place you can listen to it. And thank you to all our patrons. We greatly appreciate your
really do.
support.
Thank you all so much.
Welcome to that Viewers, Commas and Pedals and show.
And dog chew.
And dog chewing. Oh yeah, you may have to go out, Rosie. I'm sorry to say.
Oh, but Daddy, I just want to be near you and your lovely arms.
Because with the various amounts of makeup gain on the microphones, plus a bit of compression, that will sound like somebody's trying to break the door down, I expect.
Oi!
If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, this won't seem any different. Other than we are half an hour early tonight, so sorry for the late notice on that. Dan's got to go to London town.
I do.
Where the streets are paved with gold.
Yes. So I've heard.
Yeah.
I can't wait to gnaw on a few pavements.
What are you doing there, Dan?
I'm having a get together with some old friends. So back in the days of yore, I used to work at an agency booking music for all the walkabout pubs. Anyway, the gentleman that owns that agency is in town for one evening.
Nice.
One evening only. So we're all getting together.
And is he a countryman of yours?
He is Australian.
Yeah.
And I mean, we haven't all been together for like 15 years. So it'd be really interesting just to see the brutality of age.
Yes.
And the year. So that'll be amazing.
Analogue representation thereof.
So analog.
Yeah.
So analog. Well, I'm really looking forward to it. But it's quite the trek from here. So we have started early, we're finishing early. So thank you for putting up with my demands.
Get a stage coach to like Reading and then water the horses.
That's right. That's right. Big bag of oats.
Drink some mead.
On a stick in front of them and just all the way into old London town.
Yeah, and then pick up another coach into London. Avoiding vagabonds and ragamuffins on the way.
No, avoiding them. I've tried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No highwaymen, hopefully.
No. Big snow plough on the front.
Simon V, RDJ, hello mate.
Hey mate.
Good to see you here. SWiz872, Danielle Williams, Daniel Mincher, Rob Brewer, James Blessed. Lap 78, guitars okay. Nick
Can you make
Harrington.
that noise again?
Lap.
That's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, Zoot Allures is on. Paul Matulovic is on.
Hey,
and the
mate.
Feel button is on. And KJ Photo is on. Centre for Wheelchair Pillow. Lynette is on. Daniel Mincher. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Daniel.
Music Therapy Laz. Rosie's back crunching.
She just broke out.
What?
She just broke out of the office.
Right.
She's like, no, I need to be in here. The people need to hear this.
Yeah,
They
Rosie's...
need to hear my powerful jaws.
So what is she crunching on, Bebbers?
Random bit of buffalo.
Buffalo tendon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buffalo soldier.
Yeah. No.
In the heart of the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah.
Singing.
Yeah.
Oi, oi,
Zoot
oi.
Allures. Modern Neanderthal.
Nice. Jan Erickson, Jim Barber guitarist, RK, John Salomon.
According to that dude who wrote Sapiens,
Yes.
the Neanderthals
Yovel. Someone. Yep.
weren't successful over Homo sapien because they couldn't organise themselves very
They
well.
weren't organised in the same way. that
Yeah,
home
or they
sapiens
could
were.
get to a certain amount of group before they just
before the
start
group would naturally split
and,
into other
and
groups.
kill each other.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas Homo sapien could organise in greater groups and was therefore able to outsmart the physically superior Neanderthal.
And what was it that they were able to organise around?
A common belief.
Exactly, stories. Yes.
So yeah, very interesting.
Very, very interesting. I do really like that book.
Airfire is on. Hello, Ed.
Hey, Ed.
Adam D is on from Albuquerque. I was listening to that the other day.
Is that
Prefab Sprout.
Prefab Sprout? Oh, they're fantastic.
Yeah, guitar's okay. We said that. Anyway, hello everyone.
Yes,
Mike
hi,
Turner, and all lovely friends who are normally here. Welcome to the show. We'll open up with one from Mike's Music in the chat.
I saw that.
Mike wants to know: Do you guys use pedalboard snakes or string them one at a time like us mere mortals? So we presume you mean everything that's got to run from your board back to your amp.
So there's a product called a pedalboard snake which has like DIN connectors. So you have everything on your board and then you just plug in the multicolored DIN connectors. So if that's what you mean, or you mean like a standard loom, either are great, but we just run cables. I've got certain guitar cables that I like, certain cables I like from the pedalboard.
Yeah.
If my rig would stay consistent for any more than 10 minutes,
Yeah.
I think a loom is a really good idea.
Dan and I tend to not use effects loops, so your two cables better off already.
Yeah.
However, on my last rig for the gigs over the summer, I did have to have an additional. I had 3 cables going back to the amp, and I just put those Velcro, like you get on a cable sometimes, like a Velcro tie, and I had a whole bunch of those. I had like 20 of them, so I did that all the way around, so I could coil that up as one cable.
Nice.
Which did save a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, looms are great. If you're sorted on your wiring, they're great.
Yeah. Okay, so super chats this week. We're going to finish about 6 p.m. British time tonight. Dan's got to go, as we said, he's got to get the stagecoach to London town. He's going to Mrs. Miggin's pie shop of old. Anyway, if there's still stuff to mop up, I'll do that on me, Todd. But
I am going to Ye Olde Compton Street.
Are you?
Yeah.
Nice. You going to Ronnie Scott's or something? That's there, isn't it? Somewhere around
there.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Mr. Miggin's pie shop then, maybe. Andrew R says, hello, gents. Fun show last Friday. Hello, Andrew.
Hey, Andrew.
As a sort of a follow-up question, have you ever thought it ironic that most common speaker size for guitar amps is 12-inch, but for bass players generally prefer 10s?
Yeah, it is interesting, but it's never 110, is it? It's like you might find in a Princeton. It's always a multiple of 10. And when you look at the surface area, but they'll also have, I mean, I had no idea really about I knew that some bass amps had horns in them. I had no idea they were that common in a bass amp.
How did you enjoy the light bulb protection circuit in the crossover? Did you notice it?
I didn't notice it.
The speaker edges as we were playing glow.
Oh, is that what that... Oh.
And I had to Google it. I didn't know that's what it was. So
okay,
the
that's what
crossover
that
circuit
was.
has a protection circuit, which is a light bulb
Yes, okay.
to dissipate
Yeah,
energy and heat.
Yeah, got it.
Like a light bulb, like you get in an oven or
Like
anywhere else you get a light bulb.
Yeah.
And I had to Google it. I didn't know that. The 10 and the 12-inch question I think is really interesting because plenty of bass players do like 12-inch speakers. There's some classic Ampeg cabs with 212s. And Bassman, of course, the 60s Bassman. So plenty of bass players do like 12s. And actually plenty of bass players I know actually prefer 12s. But I don't know if anyone can shed any light on this, looking at you, Gordon Rankin. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything intrinsically that different about a 10-inch and a 12-inch speaker if they use a similar voice coil magnet situation. Now, one would assume that the surface area of the cone and how it moves maybe favours different transients or different frequencies or whatever. But I want to say, as pure conjecture, that's just the way it went.
Right.
And for whatever reason, the 4x10 enclosure became the base thing, or the 8x10, and then a 115. When I was growing up, any bass player worth his salt would have a 410 and a 115 cab as a stack.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that was the common thing, wasn't it?
But equally, plenty of guitar players like 15. So what I'm going to say, to be argued with and proven wrong, hopefully, is that it's about the design of the speaker, not the size of the speaker.
Yeah. And Cosmic J brings up a good point. 10s in a deep cab and 10s in a shallow cab have a very different sound. And
There you go.
the design of the cab,
Yeah.
hugely important.
Great question, Andrew.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
for
well
that.
done, mate.
Ben Cove, we've got a super chat from you, Ben, but no question. I think BV has told me that there is no question. So if we find that in due course, we'll come back to it. No super chat for Ben Cove. Anyway, Ben, thanks for the super chat. And if we find your question, we'll ask and answer.
Lots of people asking if super chats are turned off
Super chats are turned off.
and
Yeah.
why we started early.
Why did we
Yes.
start early? Because Dan is going to London.
Yes.
Sorry.
We do, and yes, been over that. Asked and answered. We've got a couple of housekeeping things we need to get through as well before we get underway.
Oh, let's
We
do
get
that.
through all this. The patron giveaway. Our dear friend Thorpe has agreed for us to give away this amazing Have Blue fuzz. Look at this.
Oh, nice.
So this is absolutely one of my favourite fuzzes, and I just think it's done such a beautiful job. So a very, very lovely.
One lucky
Fuzzy
CPS patron will. Let me show the people, Dan.
Show the people.
One lucky CPS patron will get to have this.
Yeah, it's a
Have
really, really killer thing.
Massive thanks to Thorpe and everyone at Thorpe for allowing us to give it away.
Yep. Have
Thank you.
blue or be blue. That are the options.
Experience days, 9 p.m. UK time tonight. They go on sale. So if you want to get in on that, 9 p.m. tonight they go on sale. And seeing as you're watching on the super chats, we'll let you into a little secret that if you have Shopify set up, if you have a Shopify account, ShopPay, if you have a ShopPay account which is linked to Shopify stores, it can enable you to check out a little bit quicker.
Oh, interesting. Oh, that's cool.
Seeing as you're good enough to join us here on these VCQs, we'll give you that bit of insider information if you don't have it already, because they do sell out quickly. They'll be going on sale. There's a couple of extra dates in October and November that we're going to add to the calendar, and then they're on sale then for the first half of 2026.
Yep.
Because we know that people like to come from a long way away and plan their travel.
Yes.
So yeah, experience days.
Yeah, because if you get your shop pay set up, it means that all your details and everything are there ready to go, so you can click it and buy it. I think we get emails every time we release experience days that people are putting their details in and then the date's gone. So that if you're up for an experience day, we'd recommend you to do that. Also, we need to talk to our dearest American friends.
We need to talk about Kevin.
We do. Bloody Kevin. So, on the 29th of this month, something called de minimis comes to an end. And what that means is, up to the 29th, anything under $800 has been able to go through without any duty or taxes or tariffs, just to keep things flowing. That finishes on the 29th of August. What that means is the prices on the TPS store for our American friends are going to have to increase.
Substantially.
So, yes, and around 30%, around there. We don't know exactly yet, but it's going to be around that.
Mm-hmm.
However, we've got until we've put the date on of the 21st of August.
21st, yeah.
So any orders at 21st at the latest, we're going to have to cut it off there, because then prices have to go up and things have to be put in the system.
We might even turn the store off to the US for a minute just while we understand what it means. So we might or we might not. The point is, if you want some merch, buy it now.
Yes.
Before the 21st at the current prices and get ahead of the game, because after that we don't exactly know what's going to happen.
Yeah. We'll still have our merch, but it is going to be more expensive. So thank you all for your support. And obviously the merch is the thing that keeps TPS going. So
Yes, it is.
where, this is getting this right is a big deal for us. And we obviously, our American friends are very important to us and are very important to the show. And we're going to do everything we can.
We also offer free shipping over $50. Is that right?
50.
So at the moment, until the 21st, it's going to be free shipping over $50. And we think that after that, free shipping will probably have to come to an end as well, because it just will.
Yeah, certainly for the $50 mark. So so anyway, that's happening. So if you've been looking at some merch and thought, oh, that'd be fun, please get your orders in before the 21st of August. So you've got, what's the date today? 13th? 11th. So you've got 10 days.
Yeah.
10 days to fill your boots.
And then after that, once we figure out what it looks like, we'll be doing all our shipping and duty prepaid.
Yep.
So the price you see at checkout, there won't be any surprises after that.
That's right. It'll go straight
So
through to you.
It will look more expensive, unfortunately, but there won't be any shocks the other end. So anyway, more news on that as we get it.
Yep.
Thank you to everyone who buys merch, because it is our primary source of income. But the American things is going to take a kick in the balls just for a minute. So 21st, please buy loads of merch before then. And maybe we can have a potato for Christmas.
There we go.
Good. All right. Wyatt Knox is next in with a super chat. Hey, Wyatt.
Hey, Wyatt.
Any tips? Wyatt wants to know, do you have any tips for achieving good feel and easy to play tones to help a novice player sound better and gain confidence?
That's a really great question.
Yeah. So you're newish to playing. Maybe you just want to, feel more confident and get going with it.
Okay. So this might be, I hope it's not controversial. One thing that will really help is having an amplifier that gives you proper feedback, no latency. Even you can buy an old PV Rage or Bandit. Those things sound great, really great reverb. The issue that I have with, there's a lot of really fantastic digital amplifiers and stuff. What I find with the early periods of development is that being aware of dynamic and the way it feels with the pick on the strings and everything, it's so crucial to developing as a player. A lot of the digital amp solutions that I hear that sound really good are played by players who grew up using amplifiers that weren't digital. They've developed their tone and their technique on amplifiers that gave instant feedback. So my suggestion would be, there are lots of amazing digital amplifiers that have got built-in effects and all this sort of stuff, and it's fantastic. But if you're just getting into it, buy a simple transistor or, valve. But there are some really fantastic simple transistor amplifiers with built-in reverb that sound really great, that will give you that immediacy of feel. And I think that's a really key thing to developing your touch. Yeah.
It as always, no such thing as a free lunch, and it's always yin and yang.
Yeah.
And it might be that you try both. What am I actually saying? The place you're going to feel happiest and easiest is with headphones on, quite a bit of distortion and a ton of gain, a delay and reverb.
Yeah.
And it'll just sound massive.
It sounds,
and you'll be like, yeah. And that, I think, is not the worst way in the world to begin, because, well, in one respect, it's not the worst way to begin, because you'll just feel great, and
that's nice.
Everything will feel kind of easy, especially if you've got a guitar that's nice and easy to play. And again, I don't want to be too prescriptive about it or reductive, but if you are a novice player, things like a low action, not too heavy strings, they can all feel more inviting to playing, right? So that's good. Make sure the guitar's set up nicely. But then if you're serious about playing and you really want to advance to being a a more advanced player, shall we say. I don't want to say a good player, because there's plenty of good guitar players who aren't very advanced. But if you want to advance your playing, you are going to have to work on good tone.
Yes.
And you're going to have to work on sounding good. And that, in a way, is the antithesis of that headphones on, soaked in delay and reverb and overdrive, all of that. And that is, you know, if you talk to David Gilmour or Eric Clapton or most classic era guitar players, and most great guitar players for that matter, the guitar they learned on was a piece of junk.
Yep.
Or at least it wasn't the kind of thing that we've got access to now. And it was hard work. It was really, really hard work, but they had the dedication to keep going with it. And I think there's a lot to be said for the hard work paying off later down the line. However, I said yin and yang. The other side of that coin is a lot of people just put the guitar straight back down again. They're like, that is not for me.
Yeah.
I don't want that pain. I don't want this plinky, awful sound.
Yeah.
So something in, yeah. Reverb.
Reverb, amazing.
Turn the reverb on.
Yeah.
Get some reverb going. And then on a playing point of view, Dan and I have often said this, if we were, you know, in our teens now, maybe we wouldn't carry on playing guitar, because it is so confronting to go onto Instagram or YouTube or wherever it is you go, and you see these people doing superhuman things with guitars, and you're like, man, I'm never going to be able to do that as long as I live.
Yeah.
And it can really put you off. And one of the sort of flip sides to that is you can try and start advancing really quickly, and you might get a certain distance with that, being able to play things that are semi-complex quite quickly. But I know it sounds a bit boring. You're far better off. I personally think that you're far better off learning how to do clean chord changes.
Yep. Get the notes to speak.
Play songs.
Yep.
And try and get all the way through the song and play simple stuff, but just have the presence of mind to try and get every note out cleanly. And try not to fluff too much stuff. I know it's boring. And it might be that you can structure your practice time so that you have a bit of that, where you're like, I'm going to get every single one of these notes out cleanly and really, really work on that. And then maybe have your 5 minutes soaked in delay and reverb at the end.
For me, that's one of the things I noticed about being up close and personal with Noel, is that when you can tell that when he started to learn, you know, and he's, you know, however he's doing that, but he was really on it with making sure that every note was there.
Oh, he's so considered, isn't he?
So considered. And it might sound really simple guitar playing. I've not heard anyone be able to play the stuff that Noel plays like Noel. Every pick scrape, every note, he knows exactly where he's going. And it's something that if you work on getting those things right now and making sure that every note speaks, you will develop so much more as a musician, as a guitar player, because you've done that bit of essential work. There's a lot of players who, and myself included, had to go back to finding where those notes really spoke and rang out, and because I was so much about that, you know, and all that's really fantastic fun. Just get everything to speak, get everything to be clean, and it's great. You love it.
I like that idea of structuring your practice time, so some of it, so you get a bit of reward at the end, but maybe the beginning is.
Yeah, there's a bit of work to do.
Is work. Yeah, work and reward.
Yeah.
Just like you'd train a decent spaniel. Johnny T says, R.I.P. to Terry Reid and Bobby Whitlock. Sad news. Yeah, both of whom died this week, man. I believe. I met Terry Reid at NAMM once.
Did you?
I walked up, I was like, are you Terry Reid? And he's like, yeah. And we had a bit of a chat. And for those of you who don't know, Terry Reid, English guitar player and singer. I think he ended up living in the States, but he famously either turned down
Zeppelin.
Didn't accept the Zeppelin job. Hell of a singer, hell of a guitar player.
Amazing. So the album called The River.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And it's only last month, I turned some friends of mine onto him.
Yeah.
And yeah, really, really amazing. And he kept doing his thing right up until the end. So thank you, Terry Reid, for all the incredible music. And if you look at Terry Reid and then you go and have a look at Chris Robinson,
Yeah.
you can see where Chris Robinson got all of his stuff from.
Some of it.
Yeah.
I think you got quite a bit of it from Otis Redding, but
Yeah, we certainly got a lot.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
certainly got a lot from
Yeah.
Terry Reid.
yeah. And Bobby Whitlock, Derek and the Dominoes.
Oh, yes.
Was he a founder member, maybe?
Yes, he formed it with
Clappers.
Clappers.
Yeah. So, yeah, RIP those guys. And I guess we say thank you for the contribution,
Yeah.
don't we?
Yeah, completely.
Joe Guinan. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Where are you going with that Guinan in your hand? Joe Guinan says, I honestly, you couldn't make this shit up. My first live Q&A. Well, welcome, Joe. And
Welcome,
thanks
Joe.
for joining us. I'm an original viewer since before TPS, so when we were on the Gig Rig channel.
Oh, wow.
You guys are knowledgeable, inspiration, validation, and financial ruin. Thank you. Grab
There's
a
a new
question.
t-shirt.
Grab a question on me, says Joe. Okay. I've got a question from Eagle Ray Rob.
Yes.
Well done, Rob. It's got
All the question marks.
question marks. Thank you. He says, if you had to generate power with an animal spinning a wheel, would you rather have 100 gerbils, 25 squirrels, or one human marathon runner powering the wheel?
One human marathon runner.
I
with
think
that
so.
lot.
I think so.
Yeah. With that lot, it's just it's a mass thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what would be the hardest management job either. My experience of managing humans is I'd go for 25 squirrels any day.
Yeah, yeah. If there was a spaniel on that list, though, I'd put a spaniel
Get the spaniel in there.
completely. It'd be perpetual energy till the end of time.
Thanks for the question, Rob. Tom Killory. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Hope you're doing well, buddy. He says, back to 10 and 12-inch speakers. How would you describe the difference between 10 and 12-inch speakers in regard to things like EQ, response, compression, headroom, etc.? How does a 410 compare with a 212 using the same amp head?
We've tried to answer that question in shows, but how would you describe it?
It's very hard to get away from... And the analogy I'm going to use here is tubes. So you say, what does it 6L6s sound like? And you say, it sounds like a Fender Twin. Mm. What do EL34s sound like? Sounds like a Marshall, a Marshall. And that's not true. We associate those components with those amps because it's what's in them. So when you say, what does a 10-inch speaker like? You say, well, it sounds like a Fender Bassman. And it doesn't.
Well, 4 10-inch speakers sound like that. 1 10-inch speaker sounds like a Princeton.
Well, and 4 10-inch speakers on the end of a 40-watt Tweed.
Yes.
So people must have done this, and they must have written about it. And please add to the comments if you've got anything to add. But if you took the same voice coil, magnet construction, cone material, former reinforcement, mounting method, if you standardized all those things and had a 10 and a 12, I rather suspect there are some physical aspects of the difference in surface area and some of the ways in just which they move. There must be, right?
Completely.
So that would be your answer. But that's not the way it goes, because maybe you could compare like a Fender G10 and a Greenback, which I think are equivalent 10 and 12s. But it tends to not be the way. You know, our experience of 10-inch speakers tends to be, and I just say tends to be, or in the first case, Alnico 10s that you find in Tweed amps, and then ceramic 10s that you find in things like Princeton's, etc. So I don't know the answer. What I would say, to come back to generalizations, and no matter what 4x10 cab it is, I always hear a high end that I don't like.
Yeah, interesting.
And I don't even want to say that, because the assumption is the smaller the speaker, the more high end, and that is absolutely not true. I don't think.
Yeah, I've fallen in love with 10-inch speakers, but they've got to be on the end of the right amp. And it's, up to a certain volume level, great. And I just don't know if there's something fundamental with the larger coil that I mean, obviously that's rubbish because there's an EV10M and the Princeton, and that just goes on forever.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with the high end in that speaker.
No, right? So
At all.
Yeah. But it's really interesting. We're overdue a speaker show. We've got some ideas on how to do it, but hopefully we'll do the very best we possibly can to give a representation of what a similar 10-inch, 12-inch speaker sounds like in different cabs. So yes, we'll get on that. It's a very valid question.
Also, I've taken delivery of a 2-Rock 1x15 cab just recently as well. So there's the question the other way, and that thing so far is just like, oh, I like this.
Yeah,
I
it's
really
magic.
like this.
Yeah.
Lots of people asking why we started early. Sorry, we started early. Dan's got to go to London, so we need to finish a bit early. So we thought we'd start a bit early. Hopefully, you haven't missed too much. Gordon is saying the surface area makes a difference.
Yeah.
Gordon Rankin. Hey, Gordon, hope you're well, man. Thank you for your emails this week. Yeah. Right. Thanks for the question, Tom. Daniel Thornton. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Daniel.
He says, gents, if you could drop into any year, any 2-year period in history, in a specific city or region for the music, when and where would you choose and why?
New York City. And when was Jeff Buckley playing those shows in New York?
Well, yeah, late 80s, was it?
Early 90s. So, but also there was a Pat Metheny, not Metheny, the other guy that I like.
Oh, Pat Martino.
Pat Martino. Period that he was playing loads of shows in New York. It'd be New York at some point. It'd either be New York in the 50s or New York around when Jeff was playing. Just, there are those shows where he played in this old church, and there are recordings of them that are just magical, and so much was going on. And then take a quick trip up to Seattle, see what's going on up there. And
yeah, Seattle 88 to 91.
Yeah.
89 to 91. Okay, seeing as Dan said all those good things, I'm going to say Los Angeles 69 to 71.
Oh, of course.
You
win.
Had it got going by then?
Yeah. So that's the Eagles and Joni Mitchell.
Yeah.
And that whole period of time.
It might just be a bit after that. So maybe I'm going to go after that, like 75 to 77. Maybe that. But yeah, that whole Laurel Canyon thing, whenever the hell that was, would be pretty cool. Mind you, London 65 to 67 would have been pretty electric, wouldn't it? Literally electric.
Yeah.
Because that 65 to 67 in London, with due respect to Michael Bloomfield, essentially reinvents the Les Paul.
Yeah.
And says, this thing that they haven't been making for 5 years is cool, especially when you plug it into this thing.
Yep.
Well, as it was that thing.
Yeah.
And then very quickly, Cream.
Yeah.
That would have been, I think that, I might choose that.
Yeah.
London 65 to 67.
Yeah.
Because then I would have been able to get a stagecoach home as well.
Robin put me, I hadn't really had a lot of Mike Bloomfield stuff. And he's like, oh man, you got to check this out. And then gave me some albums to listen to. I was like, oh, okay. That's really exciting.
And of course, sorry to talk across you again, 67 you would see Hendrix at the end as well.
Yes, of course. Nice.
Yeah. Groovy. David Tompkins. Hi, David.
Hi, David.
How are you? He says, missing VCQ due to an appointment to sort my will out. Everyone, do a will.
Yes.
If you haven't got one, do it now. Just going to say that. Let's move on. Do you have plans for your vast gear hoard? Should Mick have a bizarre gardening accident or Dan be viciously savaged to death by a grumpy koala?
A drop bear. Yes, I've got a will.
After having just told everyone to get one, I haven't. Because Catherine and I were talking to some friends at the weekend who said, just do it. Just do it. So we are going to do it.
Yep.
So
it's more complicated than you think. There's a lot of things to consider.
Yeah, you can just do it online, but...
Yeah.
In terms of gear ownership, so there's some things that we own personally, like vintage guitars and certain amps and things we own personally. They would be part of our estate and would go to our families. The stuff that TPS owns is owned by the business. So whatever happened to the business would just get if you died, your shares presumably would just go to Martine. Mine go to Catherine. And then they would make a decision about what happens next. Have a big party first, obviously.
Soiree,
yeah.
I think they'd call it.
Yeah. Chuck another vintage Fender on the barbecue. Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah, great.
You want to think about it. I wouldn't be leaving any of my guitars to anybody, I don't think. I'd require them to be sold to raise funds. I was listening to The Truth About Vintage Amps. I've just been binging The Truth About Vintage Amps and Sound on Sound producer podcast. But Skip Simmons tells this story of a guy who brings in an old amp. He says, I've got this old amp, and my dad got this guitar and amp, and I don't know what to do with the amp, can it be fixed? And Skip says, just out of interest, what was the guitar? Shows him a picture of like a clean 52 Blackguard telly. And he's saying, sell that guitar. It's worth all this money, sell it. And he's like, well, it was my dad's guitar. He's like, do you play guitar? He's like, no. He said, sell it. And imagine what you could do for your life with that amount of money.
Yeah,
I thought it's good advice. It's good advice. Yeah. Well, let's see. I mean, ideally, we'd sell it all before then.
Yeah.
Spend it on margaritas and beef jerky.
Someone just waving a fan.
Yeah. People who buy pedals have no will, says Jim Diddley. Chris Costabel says, what about insurance on the gear? How do you guys handle all that? Yeah, we have insurance that covers it, and it's really expensive.
Yep. I don't gig that much anymore, but when I was gigging 4 or 5 nights a week and playing a lot in London, I had very specific insurance. There was some really good companies out there actually who are what's the word? Want to look after musicians. They want to make a serious crust, but they seem to be quite wasn't ridiculous amount to have it insured for being taken in and out of the venue and being in the car and all that sort of stuff as well.
Curtis,
sure, that's different now.
Yeah. Happy Hockey saying he's got a rider on his homeowners. You can add clauses to your house insurance for certain things. Gets a bit more problematic with vintage guitars and stuff. Yeah. Someone's saying here, margaritas and beef jerky sounds like a reason to have a will.
That's very good.
It was Curtis R. Thanks, Curtis.
Simon VRDJ says, I've bought stuff from the TPS store just now.
Bless you, mate.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. I really appreciate that.
We absolutely appreciate it. Obviously, none of the stuff that's happening in the US doesn't change anything in Europe, so it's only to the US where the extra tariffs are going to be applicable.
Yes.
Swizz872. Mick, your remark about the Benson delay sounding like Americana record has really stuck with me, and I'm working on some Musgrave style music. I assume you mean Casey Musgraves, or maybe not. Maybe there's someone else called Musgrave. I was wondering if you had a similar pedal recommendation or tone production tips. Oh, hard. Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, I've been listening to the Sound on Sound. Sound on Sound is a British magazine to do with recording and sound production. And it's been going for many, many years, and it's still in print, remarkably.
Yeah, it's
But
wonderful.
they have a fantastic online archive of all kinds of stuff. And their podcast channel's really good because they have various sections of it. But one of them is they talk to music producers and engineers and mixers and people like that. And it's really fascinating. And just listening to it, you realise how much you have no idea about music and production and mixing and all of that, because these guys have been doing it, guys and girls have been doing it forever. And that level of professionalism, you know, where they might be working for, I don't know, an orchestra one day and a grime artist the next day. I mean, they tend to get a bit specialist, but anyway, when they're trading, you have to do all of that stuff. And just their experience, all the stuff they don't even know they know, is fascinating. So do I have any tips? I would say listen to a lot of those records. I think in order to get it, I've never made any music that sounds good in that vein, but I think it's absolutely essential for that kind of music to do it as a band.
Yeah, record as live as possible.
And get the band vibe happening. Every single one of these producers that I've listened, or engineers or mixers that I've listened to an interview with, they say they go for performance every day over technical brilliance or, you know, a perfectly played part. They'll go for the performance and the feel and the vibe every day of the week. So I think to get the vibe and the feel, unless you are a particular kind of genius, you do need to be in the room with humans. If you're unable to do that, I think, I don't know, it starts with a good song and a good performance, doesn't it? Don't know how else to put it, really.
I agree strongly with the idea that if that's the sort of music that you want to do, that you want to record, you really need to have a good vocabulary of that music. You need to understand that music. I remember being in the car, I was giving
Elliot Easton.
No.
Mercedes-Benz.
I
What,
was
those kind of cars?
Kurt Fletcher was giving me a lift to the train station, and I was just listening to some of his stuff, and you know, his really jazzy stuff, and there's like amazing. I'm like, you know, I'd love to be able to play that. How do you get that good? I'm really struggling. And he's like, what are you listening to? And I'm like, it was so obvious. I'd never really thought about it.
Yeah, right.
And the reason that I wasn't any good at jazz was I just wasn't listening to jazz. And then I was like, that started the new sort of emergence of the jazz, and then discovering Pat Martino and all that sort of stuff. You need to, if you really want to understand that stuff, you want to be able to play it, you need to have that as part of your vocabulary. You need to absorb as much of it as you can. And the best way to do it is listen. Yeah.
Sonically, obviously, it spans a great many different styles of music. I mean, if we're talking, if we say that Americana is broadly country tinged rock-ish, obviously it's a great deal wider than that. Then I think more prosaically, look at things like Princeton's reverb and tremolo, traditional guitars.
Oh yeah.
Think about layering an acoustic guitar for sure, or having a strong sense of acoustic guitar. And then think about register. So if you've got an electric guitar and an acoustic guitar complementing each other, think about mandolin, think about 12-string that way. Think about baritone, think about tic-tac-toe, kind of bass six the other way, and really space those parts out and have them call and answer with vocal and with other guitars. And from a guitar perspective, that would define the sound of quite a lot of Americana for me. Yeah, little amps, on the edge, reverb and tremolo, experiment with register.
Very good.
More prosaically.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Hope that helps
Yeah.
and wasn't too reductive.
Daniel Mincher says, have a great night in London, Dan. I'm off for dinner, so we'll catch your legends next week. Thank you, mate.
Have a nice dinner,
enjoy your
Daniel.
dinner.
Yeah.
So, okay, someone was, where was this? Who was asking, oh, sorry, this was really important. Someone was asking about, do we drop ship from Asia or do we have stuff sent to the UK? No, everything is sent from here. Everything is, some of the T-shirts are made in Asia, but they're all printed locally.
Made in India, Indonesia. Some of them might be Thailand. I don't know. They're all the shirts we buy are all Earth positive. So they've passed a whole number of checks and balances to make sure stuff like the water is regulated, the employment conditions are good, and all of that. Now,
Yep.
obviously, we're not going to stand on the hill and yell that that is absolutely the case, because how do you know with these great big things? But
Yes.
they are. And we buy the shirts through wholesalers that bring them to the UK. We then do the printing about 20 miles from here with another small company who is also dedicated to using non-toxic inks, blah, 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 blah. So from that perspective, we take great care about the production of the shirts. In addition, we pack them ourselves. We quality control and check every single shirt. It's folded and packed here and sent. We don't drop ship anything.
That's right. That was Sean Brooks was wondering that. So there you go, Sean. No, everything is shipped here, packed, checked with love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, massive thank you to anyone that's gone to the TPS store, and for anyone that's just joining us, our American friends that are just joining us. All of the prices and everything that are on the website at the moment will stay until the 21st of this month. After that, there will be a price increase. So that the price increase will basically be paying for the duties and tariffs, so that will go directly to you, but the prices will stay as they are at the moment, and also there's free shipping on anything over £50. So if you're looking at some TPS merch, get in now before the 21st.
Yeah. It's
10 days, people, 10 days.
It's going to get considerably more expensive after the 21st. Michael Giliberto. Hey, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
He says, hi, D&M and all. I greatly appreciated that you remembered and wished me well on my medical recovery during VCQ 2 weeks ago. I'm doing great. Thank you. Please take a question from the chat if you would.
Okay, I have a couple.
That's great to hear, Michael.
Thank you, man. I'm so glad
Thank
to
you.
hear you're doing great. Okay. Right. Here we go. So the first one, Florida man says, morning from 2 a.m. Australia. Any love for the Alnico cream speaker? Now, it's really interesting that you bring that speaker up. I was in the studio with Robin Ford last week, and he wanted to try some 1x12. So I took a bunch. I took the matchless and the Bob Burt 1x12 I had. And the Bob Burt had an Alnico cream in there. We plugged that in. We plugged the mattress in. It sounded good, but we plugged the Burt cab in with the Alnico cream. Robin loved it. And he was using his little Walter 50 watt with it. And that's a 90 watt Alnico speaker. And mic'd up, it sounded fantastic. So yes, very, very cool speaker.
You like that speaker a lot,
I
don't
do.
you?
I do.
I really like the gold, because the 50 watt one, because it's not as bright as the blue or the cream, but I do like the cream.
Yeah.
And we also like the copper on the end of the right amp. Is it called the copper?
Yes,
the red one.
The red
Ruby.
one, the ruby.
Yeah, there's a 30. It says 15 blue, 35 ruby, 50 gold, and 90 or 100 cream. And when we first got the rubies, we were like, "What the hell is this for?" Because the top end roll off is significant.
Yeah.
But on the end of a Marshall with a bright cap, it's like
It's incredible.
really, really good.
And you also get to turn the treble channel all the way up and get your EQ going, and the amp starts working. Magic.
Yeah, so you know, as
Horses
always,
for
it's
courses.
so amp dependent.
Yeah.
Dan loves Alnico speakers,
I do.
and it's fair to say you just love that Alnico Cream, don't you?
I'd love it. That's great.
Yeah. Mind you, that Burt is a very good sounding cabinet as
It's an
well.
amazing cab.
You can't take the cab out of the
No,
equation.
no. I've got 2 of those, and I dare say I'm going to go back to using those again. But yeah, very cool. Todd Rice says, I saw a video of Dan in the studio with Robin on Robin or Kelly's Instagram. So cool. Yeah, it's really fun. Okay, quick tangent. It was a fascinating day in the studio with Robin recording his new album. It has some of the best material I've heard on a Robin Ford album in a long time. And it's one of the songs that was written a while ago. Oh, it was so fantastic.
I wish I was at that
really,
pedal show again. Was it that
really
one?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so anyway, Robin is a worker. He gets in the studio and he hammers and hammers and hammers and gets it done. And towards the end of the day, there's a knock on the door and someone said, look, I've got a singer upstairs who's just found out that Robin was downstairs and he'd really love to come and say hi. Robin was like, well, I'm working now, but I can take a 5-minute break. And then the singer walks in. It's Billy Ray Cyrus. Pops in to say hi. Billy Ray's a massive Robin Ford fan. And he was lovely. It was really, really lovely to talk to him. It was really sweet. Really
Nice.
lovely guy. So there you go.
Billy Ray. Don't break his heart.
That was my day.
Leyland Berg says, are you not honking the horn anymore? We are, Leyland, but it's down there. And
It's a long way
with
away.
increasing age, it just seems like a long way. Actually, on a serious note, I ran 3 times last week and 2 times I didn't stretch afterwards. And boy, do I feel it.
Really?
Yeah, got to
okay.
stretch. You got to stretch after exercise, people.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes. Oh, also, just a quick one for Todd Roy. He said, so cool, Dan, that Davey G is using your gear. Anyone that saw on the Instagram last week, our friend
Rick Beato.
posted a picture of him and David Gilmore's studio. And I had no idea, but in the bottom left-hand corner of that photo is 3 quartermasters that David has for his studio. And so it was very big day for me on Friday. Highs and lows, people, highs and lows. But thank you, Todd. I really appreciate that. It was amazing.
Guitar's okay. Guitar's okay says, when is a tone good enough? And stop tweaking it.
That's such a good question.
Yeah.
Such a good question.
Almost instantly.
Yeah, it's good enough a long time before you stop tweaking.
Yeah.
Generally.
More prosaically, it's good enough if you're playing music and it sounds all right. I think.
Yeah.
So I went to see Teenage Fan Club on Saturday night in Frome. They played at the Cheese and Grain. Teenage Fan Club, for those of you who don't know, kind of were in I want to say like indie rockers from the early mid-90s and were loved by, I think, NME.
Oh, right.
And or Melody Maker, and I can't remember which because they hated each other, NME and Melody Maker. But anyway, they were super cred, right? And they brought out this record called Bandwagon-esque, and probably some stuff before that, but Bandwagon-esque was the big record. And then after that, they did one called Grand Prix, which is the record I know. And if you just give it a spin, it's just beautiful songs, amazing. You can just hear the vintage guitars and amps dripping out of it. Vintage Gibsons and Fenders, little Tweeds cranked, little Princetons, AC-15s, all of that. And it just sounds epic. I don't know who produced it, but it sounds epic. Loads of vocal harmonies, really lovely, really lovely. Teenage Fan Club, Grand Prix. Anyway, so there they are. Obviously, the years have advanced a bit, but they're still there.
Still doing their thing.
Being true to the indie rock dream.
Yeah.
And Norman, who's one of the main guys, he's got, I'm going to guess it was 64 to 66 335, same finish as my 345, and a similar period Epiphone, what looked like a Riviera.
Oh, okay.
I think it was anyway. It looked like it had humbuckers. But anyway, so 2 semi-hollow Gibson-style guitars and an AC-15 that I could see, a red AC-15. Might even have been a 10, but I think it was a 15. Not very loud. Crunchy as hell and really trebly.
Okay.
And I heard him like go like that. I was like, what? that's not a guitar sound I would go for personally.
Okay, right.
And then the band kicks in, and it's the perfect guitar sound.
Yes.
It is the perfect guitar sound for that mix.
Yeah. Love it.
And so I guess my very long-winded point is to say it's all about context.
Yeah.
It's always all about context. And obviously us as guitar nerds who spend the majority of our time playing on our own trying to get awesome guitar sounds, it's kind of meaningless unless there's a musical context. So when is it okay? When it sounds good making music.
There you go.
Either on your own or with other human beings.
Yep. Yeah. Then never forget what the journey is about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. They were great. They were really good.
Good.
Simon V. RDJ says, Teenage Fan Club are cool. Fact. 90s bands are cool. Well, nearly all 90s bands. Yeah, there we are.
Like it.
Sean Brooks, have you seen Mogwai live? I haven't, no. But I know that's all. It was, yeah. Interestingly enough, it took... Dan and I reflect on this quite a bit where, you know, a music movement or a thing happened and it sort of passed us by because we were into other things at the time. And the indie rock thing I wasn't into because I was pursuing other interests. More American music, which was more classic in nature, shall we say. So I didn't get it at the time because all my trendy uni mates, they got it. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. And then, of course, you grow up and you widen your listening and it's like, oh, my God. That Grand Prix record, I would say one of my favourite records.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny that, isn't it? I remember as a youngster seeing posters of The Cure going, oh, not into that at all. And then hearing, and obviously you knew the singles and stuff, and I'm like, hearing the music years later going, oh, I missed out on something really special because of my own prejudices.
Yeah.
You know?
But then, I always say that about food, you know?
No, completely.
because you don't like anchovies.
And your taste, exactly, your taste change and everything. And also, you know, I loved being in, you know, into the heavy rock thing when I was a kid. It was what I needed at the time, you know?
I guess
Pat Martino could wait.
Exactly. You'll be there for when I need you.
Exactly.
But it's easy to say, isn't it, when you've got a few years on you? We're just so lucky to have such a unbelievably diverse range of music to pick from.
Man, it's wonderful.
God, wouldn't it be boring if it was all the same?
Yeah.
Hi, chaps, says Isaac Draper. Hi, Isaac. Hi, chaps. I'm going to get a new amp to pair with a 50-watt Plexi. Yes, you are. Do I go 70s twin reverb or lower-powered modern Fender? I'm really conflicted after hearing an amazing Vibreverb the other day.
Oh, get an amazing Vibreverb.
Oh, God, don't... Yeah, if you're looking at a Vibreverb, which is going to be mid-late 60s, I would imagine, and you're comparing that with a 70s twin, they are not the same thing.
No.
Depending... Especially if you're looking late 70s, they're really, really, really not the same thing by then. Early 70s, maybe a bit closer, but... Yeah, Depends, for me, it depends how loud and how distorted you're running the Marshall. Because if you're running it not super loud, then anything from a Princeton could work really well. And actually, even if you're running it quite loud, a Princeton could work really well. Because you've got two jobs you want to do with the second amp, right? Approach one, which is the traditional TPS wet dry way of doing it, something of similar power and gain. And then that way, both the amps are doing a broadly similar but not the same job, and you can choose which one you have wet and dry if you want to do that. So, you know, when you step on a gain pedal, both amps react in a similar way. Or way two, which is the way Phil X does it, the way Dan has started doing it a little bit more recently. You have one amp that's big and open and, well, I don't know about clean, but big and open, starts to break when you push it, dealing with the majority of effects. And then you have a smaller amp that is driving much harder.
Yeah.
And those two things together with different EQ, so the smaller amp may well have a sort of more upper mid vocal type EQ, whereas the bigger amp's got more extended bass and treble and is a bigger, rounder sound. That is an equally great way to run 2 amps. Our good friend Paul Stacey does exactly that with a 50 watt Laney and some sort of
high watt.
Yeah, so the high watt doing the big job, the Laney really distorting in the mids. So
magic.
If you can make a decision about that, what amp you want to be doing what. So if you want an amp of broadly similar power and gain, then looking at something like a 50 watt or even a 100 watt Fender for loud and clean could be the thing. Twin 65 reissue twins are really nice.
Yeah, they're
70s
great.
twins, cool. They usually need a bit of breathing on, depending on the speakers.
Yeah.
Reverb always wants looking at. Tremolo always wants looking at.
But they are easy to look at, those 70s twins, because they're all still using big components and they're easy to work on. One of the things is changing the phase inverter to take it back to black panel specs, and that does open the amp up so much. But any tech can do it, without too much bother.
Yeah.
And they're really good amps. I had a 100 watt quad reverb, which was the 4x12. It was a 4x12 combo.
Literally the stupidest amp ever made.
Yeah, and I loved it. It was wonderful. And that's one of the things that got stolen, along with my 64 Strat.
Oh.
And so that was hurty. But they're great. They're really wonderful amplifiers.
Yeah. So that's if you're doing that job. But if you do want to run the 50 watt Plexi kind of bit more open, and because even a 50 watt Marshall Plexi will do a really lovely clean sound below a certain level, like a really lovely clean sound, especially if it no. And then you could even run something like a Champ or a Tweed Princeton or something like that if you want to do that punchy mid-range overdriving job. As you increase the power, get up to a deluxe reverb into twins and things like that. You could look Voxy.
Yeah,
not many things an AC15 doesn't pair very well with.
that's true.
But yeah, if you're in the Fender land, could work great.
BV has said we want to push on with the cues because I've got 26 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you, BV. Yeah. It's a great question though, because I find with the 2 amp thing, you can pair anything. As long as it's analog, even pairing a transistor with a valve, you can pair anything and they always bring something else to the table. It's so interesting. I am going to go back to using the AC30 or the matches, but for now the AC30 and the Princeton, because I just ran out of a bit. It's one of the things with small amps. They're amazing, but when you get to the gig and you run out of headroom and there's nowhere to go, it's like, oh man.
You can, if you've got great front of house and good monitors, you can lean on them a bit, but most of us don't have that most of the time. Well, we don't anyway. Raff Rater, hey Raff. Good to hear from you, buddy. He says, hi D&M and TPS fam. I've been trying to get a decent Marshall sound out of a Mesa 525 Express Plus, which is 2 EL84s.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided I want a real 2061 instead. Any experience with that? Yes. It is a massively overlooked Marshall amp, in my opinion.
Really?
So Dan's got the 2061, for those who don't know. It's about that big, 4 knobs on the front, and it's basically 18 or 20 watt Plexi, for want of a better description.
Yeah.
EL84s. Most people know the 1974 X, which is the one that has tremolo, I think.
Right.
Which has a tube rectifier.
Yep.
And Dan's got a similar amp to that called a Mallard.
Yep.
With a tube rectifier.
Yep.
The 2061 has a solid state rectifier, and so it's a bit more urgent and it gives it a bit more headroom. And actually on that those little 212 cabs that we've got, Marshall cabs that look like 412s but shrunk. That's what the 2061 sits on. I've gigged one of those for a bit, and it is a magic amp. Robbie McIntosh's favourite amp.
Really?
Was for a long time.
Yeah.
So we'd recommend it. They are loud.
They are loud. Absolutely.
Not as loud as a 50-watt Plexi, obviously, but they are loud. Does it sound like a Marshall? It really, really, really does.
Yes. It doesn't sound like a Vox. If you're thinking the EL84s are going to make it sound, it really doesn't sound like a Vox at all.
No.
It sounds like a Marshall. It's great. So I was at Paul Stacey's studio, and he had that mic'd up through an orange 2x10, and it was the most awesome.
A 2061.
The 2061, like an old one, and just the rock of it was epic.
Yeah.
They're fabulous.
Yeah, there you go. So we would recommend. Just with the caveat, you've got volume and tone, right? You've got no bass, middle, and treble, and no master volume. So there's going to be one place on that volume knob that you like, and that might be too loud or too quiet. So maybe, I don't know, about an attenuator or something like that. But just bear in mind, it's almost like the antithesis of the Express, because the Express has got like a million things you can do. It's master volume, it's got channel volumes. I mean, you can bend that thing in many, many directions.
Yeah.
But as you've said, getting an authentic Marshall tone out of it, not that easy. So yeah. Do also check out, if you do also check out the 20-watt Studio series of Marshalls, either the 2525, I think it's called, which is the Silver Jubilee type one, or Jubilee type one. And they do a Plexi type one as well. They also do a JCM 800 type one. We really, really liked the Silver Jubilee one.
Silver Jubilee sounded great.
20 watts, master volume as well. So it's kind of a step back towards the Mesa. That sounds absolutely like a Marshall, doesn't it? It couldn't be anything else.
No, that's really wonderful.
So do check that out. Do check that out as well. Airfire, Ed.
Hey, Ed.
How are you, bud? I hope your house move has gone well, mate. He says, upon moving my pedal board, I noticed it was very dusty. Egads, what's the best product to clean the pedals without causing damage?
A vacuum cleaner with one of the dust things on it.
There you go. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I have secreted around the TPS studio many unused paintbrushes.
Yeah.
So when I'm cleaning up for experience days, I'll go around with a paintbrush bigger than this, gently brushing the knobs and switches with vacuum cleaner attached.
He puts a little outfit on as well. It's
Little
really
outfit,
sweet.
little
Really
maid's
sweet.
And a little bit of music, cream cake or two, bossa nova preferably. Yeah, that's the way we do it, Ed. Big paintbrush or feather duster.
Yep.
And vacuum cleaner on hand, so that dust goes in the right place.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to, well, unless something's really dirty and you've managed to bleed on it or sweat on it, you shouldn't need any Pledge or other
Mr.
cleaning
Sheen,
product. And in that sense, a damp cloth, not too damp, usually does the job.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yep. Hope you settled into your new place, Ed. Andy says, the whole moving process has been good, however. Encouraged me to punch up an old song and do some writing on that forever coming EP.
Nice.
When do you know to start demoing?
Oh, what do you call a demo?
Yeah.
Pick up your phone and sing into it. There's demo number 1.
Yeah. Start.
Sorry, I had to resolve it.
Yeah. It was, again, on the amazing Sound on Sound podcast I've been listening to. One of the engineers had worked for a long time with Van Morrison. And Van's way of working was he'd get to the studio either alone or with 12 musicians. And when he's ready to go, the tape has to be rolling.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind this is tape.
Yeah.
And he might do 3 hours. So they're running 2 tape machines, and the engineer's got to be on it enough to know that when that tape's about to despool
On the other one.
onto the other machine, and somebody else is, or maybe they are furiously taking notes so that when Van comes out and goes, they
all
know
there.
where to go back to, because
Yeah.
he might have had an idea here, and then it's the producer's job to say, hey Van, this was great, why don't we work that up? And that's how they bloody do it.
Yeah.
It was fascinating.
Stop punching me.
Yeah.
We'll get it worked up.
Oh.
Don't worry about it.
I bumped into him in the street in Bath one day. I came out of a home store and I walked out, and there's Van Morrison. And I'm like, and of course he looks at me, I look at him, so you got to say something. I said, oh, Van Morrison, I really love your music, because I didn't know what else to say. I mean, it was a partial lie, but I love some of it. I really do love some of it. And bless him,
He was nice.
he looked at me and he went, "Ugh," and walked off. I've taken that advice and just used it throughout, my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Evan Ward says it's a perfect Van impression. I know. He is, he does have a reputation as being a bit grumpy, to be fair. I'm sure he's a lovely man to some people. Yes. Yeah, my favourite Vans are more transit shaped, I would say. Hello, gents, says Mike Turner. Hey,
Hi,
Mike.
Mike.
How are you? He says, I hope you're both doing well, question mark.
Awesome. Thank you,
Yes.
buddy.
Yes. Mick, the most important question of the week. How was the Teenage Fan Club gig? Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I reflected on this earlier, Mike. It was really good. It was really good. It was a bit... The sound wasn't great, I'm sorry to say. So with apologies to the engineer, it was a bit muddy. It wasn't... None of it was crispy enough for me. I went and stood in different places because it was just a bit muddy. But it was great. It was nice. I wish they'd done more off my favourite album, which is sort of what everyone says for everyone,
Yeah,
if you
of
go
course.
and watch a band. But they were great. Flipping great harmonies, hanging it out there a bit with some of the guitar solos, like Jaguar, cranked Princeton or Deluxe I couldn't quite see, like caving in, you hear the speaker going...
Awesome.
And bass player, big tube, bass head, thuddy. It was all good. Mind you, he did have a little solid state bass head on top as well, maybe if the tube one went down. But yeah, it was good. It was good. Nice to see some old friends and see some TPSers. So anyone that's watching tonight who I said hello to at the Teenage Fan Club gig, hello to you.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's good to go to gigs, isn't it?
Oh, man.
It is good. Toes, says Executioner's Bong. I just got a limited black edition hologram microcosm.
Oh, nice.
Wow. I'm loving the mosaic and haze presets. Is Dan still enjoying his watt settings and sections? Love from Indiana.
Yeah. There is the microcosm for me. I can just put it on and just lose myself for hours. Oh, live, discovered, delay, and reverb. Right? She was in my office 8 hours, didn't stop playing, and just all these sounds coming up. I'm like, she's like, "Oh, Dad, this is amazing." I'm like,
Yes,
I
it is.
know.
Welcome. You have arrived.
And like things like the microcosm and the mood and that sorts of things are like the next step on beyond from that. Yeah, the microcosm is a whole world of ambience. It's an astonishing thing. The problem that I had with the microcosm was I was using it too much, and everything. It was just so easy to enter into that space. It was like, I'm It's like sweets. It's like sweet treat, and I was having too many sweets, so I had to limit myself on the sweets. But I do love it. Look, hologram, the chroma key, the new little multi thing is unreal, and I've just put one of those on at O'Brien's new board. But yeah, the microcosm, unreal, just unreal.
That was sort of at the dawn of commercially available granular looping,
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
it?
right.
Is that what that is?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So very cool.
Yeah.
So Eager Ray Rob says, I've had the microcosm for years. I have no idea how it works, but when it does, I know it. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Deja says, I'm not sure either would survive if Marquis Smith met Van Morrison. My top two scary rockers.
Awesome.
Have you ever heard The Fall?
No.
Why are people grudgeful, boy? Just remarkable band. Another remarkable band.
Wow.
But he was
okay.
a famous miserabilist as well.
Right.
That's
That's a thing, a miserabilist. I love it.
Don't know. Paul P-Man Howland. P-Man Howland is very desperate to know. From Dan and Mick. I have an import G&L Blues Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Any suggestions for a neck humbucker swap for jazz tone? So the Blues Boy's got, if I remember correctly, thin line, single coil,
Oh, okay.
humbucker in the neck.
Yeah. Look, anything PAF style.
Yeah.
All of those amazing jazz albums were done with PAFs. That's it.
That's a Gibson patent applied for humbucker that came out in 1957-ish and through to about when they changed.
Yeah. And there are loads of really good versions of it.
Classic Gibson humbucker.
Yep.
But I rather suspect, I don't know what's in there, I rather suspect you could get a pretty decent jazz tone out of that. Jazz players, don't hate me, right? Turn the tone knob down a bit if you want like a woolly sort of jazz tone, or figure out with the rest of your board and amp, or amp if you only just plug straight into the amp, and just, get a tone and response that you like. You might not have to change the pickup. In fact, I'd be surprised if you need to change that pickup. Don't know what's in there. I know G&L were a fan of ceramic magnet pickups, weren't they? So maybe it's a bit spicy, but to counter what I just said, a lot of people assume jazz tone is neck humbucker tone rolled right off. It's not. Listen to any classic Wes, or who am I thinking of? Barney Kessel.
Yeah.
The classic
Fred
era.
Ellis, all those guys.
Yeah.
Barney Kessel, man. That.
And your mate, to be fair.
Yeah. His best stuff.
Pat Martino. He had plenty of brightness in his tone.
Matt Partino.
Yeah, Shat Fartino. Plenty of brightness in the tone. And actually, as a sort of tangent, I've heard it said that it wasn't uncommon for them to mic the guitar as well.
Yeah.
To get some string noise.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah. Anyway, a really nice traditional Gibson PAF style pickup, and every single modern boutique pickup maker makes one.
Mm-hmm.
So pick your favourite brand. And it might be that, again, I'm just assuming that it is a modern sounding ceramic magnet humbucker in that G&L. I'm just assuming that.
Because all the other stuff is.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so I'm assuming it. What you get with a vintage style PAF is probably a little bit less output. You'll get slightly asymmetrically wound coils, so there'll be a bit more air in it anyway, and there'll be a bit more vocal mid-range than you might expect from a modern ceramic pickup. Again, some of that is assumption. So if I'm telling lies, everything's normal. Sean Brooks says Wonder Horse. Wonder Horse is my favourite UK band of late.
Wonder Horse.
Now,
awesome.
Have you heard them?
I have heard Wonder Horse.
I had no idea. My mate Paul, who came up to stay at the weekend, played some stuff. I'm like, I like this.
It's great. It's really wonderful.
Wonder Horse, spelt Wunder, horse. So check them out. Thank you for the recommendation, Sean. Paul Matulovic says a Charlie Christian or a Staple could work too in that guitar. Yeah, Charlie Christian would be a great shout, which is
the blade.
Yeah, looks vaguely P90-esque, but isn't. The problem you've got is it's a humbucker size. Now, might be that if you go to Lola or somewhere like that, they'll do humbucker size Charlie cushion. They might. They might not.
There's lots to throwback. 7th World says throwback PAFs, and mind blowing change to my list. But yeah, the throwback PAFs are great. But there are loads of really good PAFs. Monty's, Mace Scrap PAFs, OX4s, wonderful. The Gibson PAFs are great. You know, don't look past the Gibson PAFs. They're wonderful.
Yeah.
So
Can be.
there's loads of really good pickups out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simon VRDJ. Simon,
mate.
he says, chaps, thanks for the lowdown on bass amp vid. It certainly caused a rumble. Will we see a bass pedals review? P.S. Mick, I have Barra Breath waiting to be sent to you. Much love to you all. Thank you, Simon. Sorry, I should have got it from you at Dan's gig. Thank you. Barra Breath, for those of you who don't know, nice bit of cake.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Made
Welsh
in the country
cake.
of Wales. Thank you, buddy. Will we do bass pedals review? Probably not.
No.
I'll tell you something interesting about Friday's video on bass. Did okay numbers, didn't it? And it wasn't on bass, it was playing guitar through bass amp, so it wasn't really on bass at all. But I think the fact it said bass, a lot of people are like,
Oh, I'm out.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Not a single question what that bass was.
Oh, amazing.
Not a single question.
Yeah,
Dan and
okay.
I play any minutely different guitar in a video, 50 questions, what's that guitar?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not 50, but some questions. So I said it before and I said it again. Guitar players just don't care about bass, do they?
Yeah. And there's some amazing bass channels out there. Some massive bass channels
Scott's
out there as
bass
well.
lessons.
Scott's bass lessons.
Oh my god!
Unreal. You know.
Oh my god. Because that's what guitar players think bass playing is.
That's what it is.
Curtis R says, I thought it might be a Pinot. Chris Costabile says, what was that bass? Well, I was sort of glad that nobody asked because it's a Bitzer. And I don't know if any of it is actually Fender or not, but it does have a Fender transfer on the headstock. So it's a genuine Fender jazz bass neck on a precision body made to look like Pinot's P bass, 62 P bass.
I found a picture of him and me the other day.
You and Pinot?
Yeah. I went to a rehearsal.
I just melt.
And he's what a beautiful guy.
Oh,
He was so lovely.
Bass
Really
player.
tall.
yeah, he's massive.
But yeah, I was at a rehearsal with him and Paul, and I was doing some stuff with Paul, and I'm like, "Hi, Pino, can I have a picture?" So yeah, of course, it's so lovely.
For those of you who don't know, we're talking about Pino Palladino, who is a much celebrated bass player. I guess he was everywhere in the 80s, played tons and tons of sessions, played on lots of famous records. More recently, he was in John Mayer's band for a bit. I think, I don't know if John Mayer still does the trio, but it was a trio with John Mayer, Steve Jordan, and Pino. He played on a whole load of D'Angelo stuff.
D'Angelo stuff, he's amazing. Oh my goodness.
And normally when you see him, he's got often when you see him, he has a 62 pink faded Fiesta red P bass through usually a couple of amp eggs and 8x10s, and it is the sound of gods.
It really is. And his son Rocco is an amazing bass player who plays a what are they called? The little bass, the come on. It's like the shorter scale bass. Like a really old one. Mustang. And it's amazing. Yes, but anyway.
Yeah.
How we doing?
We're doing good.
Good.
We're doing good. S. Ward, Sword, says, speaking for all bass players everywhere, if there's ever a bass player to have on, Pino would be incredible.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously there's loads of awesome, brilliant bass players out there, but we love Pino. And James Jameson and Willie Weeks, and Jacob Astorius,
Yep.
and insert bass players here, Victor
Yes.
Wooten.
Graham, the guy that invented the slap. What's his name? I'm terrible. Just an awful
Larry
person.
Graham.
Larry Graham. Thank you. I knew Graham was in there somewhere.
Yeah. Anyway, Victor Gustafsson. Hello, Victor.
Hello,
He
Victor.
says, legs. The Noel episode gave me a new perspective on Oasis and songwriting in general.
Yep.
I spent Saturday evening front standing with my bandmates, mind-blowing, historical, otherworldly. Can't thank you enough. Arc forever.
Well, you know, that's one thing we always say. If you've come on TPS, then you'll go and play Wembley. That's what happens.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
Literally in that order. Yeah, it was great, wasn't it? Wasn't it great? Wasn't it great what they are doing?
It was needed. I needed to see that, I think. I walked out of that going, okay, it's all good. It's all good. Well, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
So wonderful.
Glad you enjoyed it, Victor. And it is a tonic, and it is a wonderful thing to talk to Noel in particular. But anybody, but we'll use Noel because we've done it, who after however many decades of being highly successful in music, highly successful, is still as passionate about it as they ever were.
Gets up every morning to play guitar and
And
sing
it's like,
songs.
that is just brilliant.
It's wonderful.
That is brilliant.
He grew up on a council estate in a rough part of Manchester. Every day's a win as far as he's concerned. You know what I mean? Like, from where he is, he's like, he can't believe it. He's just like, this is amazing. I heard him doing an interview once, and he was having a go at rock stars who whinge about,
Oh yeah,
you know, and he was like, are you joking? You know, we are living people's dreams, and you guys are whinging about, you know. He's like, anyway, I really like the guy and his passion for it. Love it. It's really great. And when you like Oasis, and like every song is like, it was just an absolute belter. And seeing him and Liam, and you know, it's so lovely to see them together making music again. Far out, man.
It is really great.
Yeah.
It is really, really great.
Okay.
So our final question tonight is a bit of controversy from Jeremiah McCann.
Yep.
Jeremiah, thank you for this thought. He says Nespresso. What?
Jeremiah was a bullfrog. Anyway.
Who's that?
Jeremiah was a Whitlock. No, anyway. Jeremiah was a bullfrog. Joy to the world. Joy to the fishes in the deep blue sea. Joy to you and me. You don't know that song?
No.
Oh, okay. It's great.
Help, somebody. Tell me who that's by.
Was a good friend of mine.
An American or two is asking, what is a council estate?
Oh,
As in
okay.
A councillor, and a few people have gone, that's the project.
Okay, the project. There you go.
Not quite, but anyway. Nespresso, says Jeremiah
Yes.
McCann, is like digital amp emulators, convenient and reliable, but it's a bit soulless next to a barista handcrafting espresso and wishing you good morning.
You know what? I'm back chasing the dragon, and I've got one of those little coffee pod Nespresso things, and I really like it. But a friend of mine came over like 6 weeks or so ago, and he bought with him his super expensive coffee machine, right? Thousands of pounds. And I'm like, you're having a laugh. Dude, it is real.
Yeah, I
It
know.
is real.
If you like espresso and that whole thing, and a good flat white, or even better a ristretto, but
Yep.
actually a ristretto I think is the pour you use for a flat white, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think so. You pour espresso, but you only pour it 2/3,
Okay,
and you use 3 of those.
right.
I think. I'm into the drip.
Yeah, right.
I like the drip. Good drip machine. There we are.
There we go.
Good. Okay, everyone.
Yes, thank you all.
Thank you for being here. We're gonna sign off tonight. We started a bit early. We're gonna finish a bit early. Dan has to go to London town. He's gonna seek his fortune in the city, and
I haven't found it here, so
no. Yeah, we'll see you Friday. Friday is going to be about the Amperex brown box.
yes, unreal. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Uh,
No VCQ next week or the week after. We're going to have some time off. There will be Friday videos. We've managed to get enough filmed, I think. So no VCQ this week or the week after. We're going to have a break, and we'll see you. I think it's the first Friday in September, unless I've got that wrong. Anyway, because there's a bank holiday, yet another bank holiday. So we're actually going to have it off, missus. And maybe even relax. This is completely out of time. Right. Thank you for being here. I'm going to be a multi-instrumentalist. What key are you in?
E. Right, I gotta go.
Bye.